Let's call the meeting to order. This is the June Parks and Recreation Committee meeting of Atherton. May we have the roll call, please?
Member Hunter. Chair Key.
Here.
Member Keller.
Here.
Member Merrill.
Here.
Here, and Bob Roser.
Here.
And Council Liaison.
Is there any public comments for items not on the agenda? Not on the agenda. Go ahead, Ken.
I'm Ken Frederick. I'm here just to make a comment, no action required, as part of the senior task force. We're having these fairly large group meetings nowadays, which are getting to the point where they're gonna be too big for the Heritage Room. And so we're looking for the place following on for some of these that would be bigger, which turns out to be the Jennings Pavilion. The problem with the Jennings Pavilion is the acoustics are terrible. And there's no Wi-Fi reading. So it'd be hard for us to use it unless we get those two fixed. So we're just pleading that if you guys put them on the agenda, I'd appreciate it. And let us know kind of what the time frame would be. Because if you get more than like 60, 70 people, you can't put them in the Heritage Room. And this room is really the council room, and it's often not being available. And so as a result, otherwise we have to turn to go outside, somewhere outside the town. So if you put things on the agenda for the Jennings, please look at acoustics and Wi-Fi. Thanks.
Yeah, we do have it for 5B, so we can discuss as part of the.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Is there anyone else? If not, we will move on to approval of minutes. So you all have been given the minutes from last meeting. Are there any?
Approve.
Okay, okay, all in favor? Aye. Say aye. Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Seeing none, unanimously approved. And then we have Susan Knox here, for
Yes.
representing the Knox High School, who will present.
Once again.
Give us our yearly update on how things.
You're
are going.
28. Yeah, I think yeah, 28 years. Yep. Exactly. I agree.
I started this group, I think, for 5.
Yeah, we opened in 1998, so this is the end of year 28. We have a week and a half left in this school year. Then we have a week off, then we have 7 weeks of summer camp, and then we're gonna start again in the fall. Not sure exactly what you all wanna hear. I don't have any comments on pickleball yet, but I do play tennis. We have 1 more year on the lease. I plan to exercise that option for next year. I'd like to renew for another year. I know some people here on the town council. But that's all gonna depend on the facilities. You know, the facilities are getting old. So we are constantly, like this year, we did some roof repairs. Shout out to Will over there. He's very responsive. Roof leaks, plumbing situations in the old building, fence repair, you know, things like that. So it's kind of putting the Band-Aids on everywhere. We need some new flooring. So anyway, I would love to, as he was saying, are you guys finishing? I'm like, I hope not. I hope we'll be able to stay for a while. Enrollment is down a bit, definitely from pre-COVID numbers. We've revamped things. We're more of a full day daycare, part-time option and a full day option, trying to be flexible and keep it going. We serve younger kids now because the 4-year-olds are mostly going to the TKs in the public schools. So we really are doing 2, 3s, 2, 3, some 4-year-olds. This year we actually have almost a full class of 4-year-olds. I have 7 full-time teachers.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have 7 full-time teachers
7
and how many students?
We have 45. Some of those are just 3 days a week and some of them stay, every day.
And how many of those are Atherton residents? Do you have a rough idea?
I would say 8 to 10. It hovers around 20-25% most years.
And the rest are like Redwood City, Menlo Park.
I mean, mostly probably Menlo Park, and it kind of fans out a little bit from there. Redwood City, Palo Alto, doesn't go much farther than that.
I think the challenge for doing some major renovations that you're looking for is a long-term commitment, because.
Yeah, we'd have to be in concert with that, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
saying.
We're gonna spend a lot to.
Yeah.
do something permanent, it can't be just for a year or two.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we'd have to put our heads together and say, you know, we'll renew for this much if we can get these things done.
So exactly what those things are that you would like to see
So-
is an important list.
It is. I think we need an analysis of the plumbing in the old building. We've had some serious problems with it the last few years. I know we spent over 20 grand, or the town spent over 20,000 on it 2-3 years ago. But we continue to have issues, overflowing toilets and, you know, I think just the run of the pipes to the main is not
The
great.
whole
So,
park has plumbing.
yes, and I was told that, yeah. But it's a little bit of a problem when you got a bunch of 2-year-olds in the classroom and the toilets are erupting. So,
We will have new bathrooms in the park,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
next will take,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Luckily
by
we have-
fall.
yeah, luckily we have 4 classrooms with 4 bathrooms, but, so flooring, the laminate flooring, the roof, I think we can continue to patch it. When we need a little bit of fence repair, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. Anything else? Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, moving on to the regular agenda, we have our pickleball and tennis update. So I think, Don, you've been having some talks with the town. Go ahead and report.
So as stated in the minutes, last time we talked at this meeting, myself and Walt, we're gonna go back and talk to Robert about 2 things, the key fob potential, and I'll go into the key situation. And in fact, I think Bob had raised the idea that there's a lot of reservations that are made.
So for the purposes of the audience who don't know what the key fob is, trying to solve, okay.
Bob had raised the issue of there's a lot of folks that sign up for courts and don't show up, and it's aggravating when there's a lot of folks that are trying to play. So we'll talk about that. And we talked to Robert about that as well, and he's going to look into it. And then secondly, last time we talked, Walt and I were to go back to Robert and talk about a player capital agreement that's the 3-year term ends in September. It can be funded by us for 1-year terms. And to have Robert go back to player capital and talk about allocating time.
Yeah, and Robert is Robert Ovadia, our Public Works Director, so people know what we're doing.
So this report is about the discussion that we had with Robert, and Robert is the one that's gonna go back and talk to player capital about that. And I can report on what we talked to Robert about and where that's headed. So first on the overall situation, the good news is, according to Robert, we've gone from 100 keys per year to now 200 keys per year.
Okay,
So we've essentially doubled over the last year and a half.
likely due to pickleball?
Likely.
Okay,
So it may be that there's roughly 100 tennis players and roughly 100 pickleball players at this point. The good news is that's terrific. The challenge with respect to the issue that Bob raised, with respect to people not showing up for reservations, it relates to the fact that we now have 200 people that every February are coming into the building and paying the fee and getting. So there's a lot of work being done to make that happen. The alternative we talked to Robert about, and we mentioned it at the meeting last time, is going to a key fob system where we would install a different lock, a key fob related lock on each of the doors. And then everybody would be issued a key fob that could last theoretically for a long time. And then if they didn't pay after a year, this would be deactivated. So it all could be done electronically, theoretically, and at, I think, less cost than 200 new keys every year and all these associated stuff with that. And to the extent someone's signing up and not showing up, we can track who is using the key fob. It's not perfect, because somebody might be there with a partner that uses theirs, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So Robert is looking into the cost associated with that. It seems like avoiding having 200 people come in and pay with a check is a good idea.
Yeah.
So that's where that is.
So that payment part is electronic payment, they're gonna, and then,
That would be part of the key fob system is to set it up so that the payment can be made by credit card online.
okay,
Uh,
be easier on Michael than, the other Michael.
Yeah. yeah. There still would need to be oversight of that. And particularly in the first year where you're handing out 200 key fobs, but I think ultimately it's a better system. So that's with respect to that. The issue with respect to allocation of time, the history on player capital, if you go back to 2014 when they were signed up, there was a mention of allocation of time that player capital would have for a couple of months after during 2014, and that they would have the ability to use 3 courts on Saturdays and 4 courts the rest of the time. So that was the initial thought. And that went away in the agreement. I think in a couple of months, it was just, and since then, there has been no specific allocation of what they can sign up for. And what that has led to is they have routinely signed up for 4 courts throughout the week. And routinely on Saturday, they'll sign up from 8 in the morning till 6 at night on 4 courts. And related to that, to the extent they're signing up for 3 courts, they're signing up for 3 courts that are not the clay court. The clay court is sort of their 4th choice. And so the clay court pretty clearly is not getting used. And it's unfortunate because it's one of our 6 courts. So we as a town have a horrific asset in this 6 courts, but 4 of them, much of the demand time are being used by them. And so there's essentially 2 courts left. 1 and maybe 1.5 for tennis and half to 1 for pickleball, depending on the time of day. And the current arrangement is pickleball is till noon on Saturdays, till noon during the week. And then I think Tuesdays and Thursdays, it also gets from 4 on or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and all day Sunday too.
All this and all day. Yeah, that's right. So that's where we currently are. What I talked to Robert about is one approach we could have with player capital is to say, we gotta allocate time. We can't allow this to go on as, because by the way, we now have exacerbated the situation by bringing in pickleball so that we have tennis is crowded, pickleball is crowded, and it's different than what it was pre-pickleball.
Saturday mornings are the worst.
Saturday mornings are the worst. It's full on, but there's demand the rest of the time. There's no doubt. And if you look at tennis is very crowded as well. You can see that on weekends, during the week, sometimes it's pretty crowded on, in effect, the 1 court that's left over for tennis. And when you have 6 courts and 1 left over for tennis and for half for pickleball, not ideal. So what I talked to Robert about is, let's propose something to player capital. And what we thought we could propose is they can use 2 hardcore courts and they can use the clay court. That would be 3 throughout the week. So in effect, we'd be giving up half of our courts. What that would do is it would free up tennis to have 2 courts at all time, 2 hard courts at all time, which I think would benefit tennis quite a bit. And then pickleball could be freed up at all times as well. So the only restriction would be they'd be on 3 courts, 2 plus the clay court. Robert didn't seem to think that they would be happy with that. And my reaction was, let's find out what they need.
If they have a counter proposal, you mean, or?
I haven't heard from Robert as to whether they've gone to them yet or not. So this is an interim report in that respect. For example, quite a bit of time, they will reserve 4 to 6 p.m. I think it's a clinic of some kind on 4 courts.
Yeah.
That looks like it's important to them. And that might be a trade-off that we can provide without, messing up the overall system that I'm suggesting, which is, let's give 2 courts to tennis, 1 court to pickleball, and 3 to player capital. But I don't know where it's gonna end up, or where it is right now exactly either.
Okay.
So that's the report.
Are there any questions for Don?
No, I think it is a matter of Jessup taking a look at how much money does he have to make to pay the pros, the coaches that he has, and how many does he have to do to get a certain number so he can pay the top adjutant and the coaches. And I don't know if that analysis, at least I haven't seen it. And I think that's just what he has to deal with to see what is it going to take for him to have a viable business. It's a business.
And there's some flexibility we could have, and we could, if we wanted, reduce the $50,000 a year to some smaller number. We're getting extra money now from the 100 new keys that we are issuing. So if that is important to them to create a viable business, that's one alternative. By the way, another alternative is, and this may be more radical, is not to have player capital, you have 6 courts.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do we contract with them or do they contract with us? Who says this is what you get rather than this is what I want?
Well, the contract right now doesn't say what they get or what they want. It just says you are managing the courts and you manage the scheduling system. And that's it, that's all it says. And they have taken it as the approach they take is they get to sign up 2 weeks in advance and the public can sign up 1 week in advance. And so they get to choose what they want. And if it's 4 courts of it, sometimes it's 5. And it's gotten kind of extreme in my view.
And I think at this point, it's kind of mutually negotiated. We've worked with player capital, the town meeting has worked with player capital long enough that they'll talk and figure something out. And I'm guessing what may end up being worked out is maybe sometimes we give Michael more courts, maybe when it's not busy, when people typically aren't as interested in play, maybe, in the middle of the day or something. And then other times we say you're restricted, such as Saturday mornings when it's very popular.
Another answer to your question, Dorothy, is why do we have player capital?
Yeah.
And the answer I understand is it's a way that we can have somebody do the scheduling because we have no mechanism to do that otherwise. We don't have the personnel to handle the scheduling. And they're paying us.
Yeah, $50,000 a year. And
And it was also asked for us to get a group, or get somebody who can run the courts and give an opportunity for people to get tennis training. And one of the things that at the time, the problem with the town was there wasn't anybody giving courts. And the guy that was giving any teaching, and the guy that was there didn't want to do it anymore. So we interviewed 4 different people to come and do, and we picked Michael.
Yeah, and
But we were asked to do that.
yeah, it's interesting. When I have seen them giving lessons, it's a lot of people with Burlingame High School shirts on, and so we're entertaining, we're providing lessons to the world a little bit. And the question is that in the interest of town residents at the end of the day? There's another question, which will be, we've given, I think the town council has given them the ability to provide lessons, but they have to be signed up through somebody that holds a key. That's the current arrangement. And frankly, that's one of the mechanisms we could use as a sweetener for them is they could provide more lessons on the pickleball court, because I think there'll be a lot of demand for that. And actually, I think they could make a lot of money on clinics in pickleball. I'm not advocating for that because it's a lot of use in the courts, but there's things that can be moved around.
Well, aren't they able to give lessons now on pickleball?
They are, but apparently it's only if the key holder signs up for it. It can't be player capital signing up for it. And it has to be one of the two people that are player, it has to be a player capital person, I think, which is fine.
But if it's the player that has to sign up, they're not given the 2 weeks ahead to sign up.
Right.
They're like everyone else, so they got to first reserve a time, then make sure the coach can make that. So that makes it difficult though. Maybe that's what.
Well, that's a change that could happen, to give them that right. But the critical issue, I'd say, with player capital is they funded the changes that we've done to the tennis courts. But if we didn't have player capital, we wouldn't have the tennis courts available to the public like we have.
So they did the, like the resurfacing.
Total, all their
Okay,
money
so they cared
completely
for it.
has paid, not just the resurfacing, but the rebuild of the tennis courts. Their money has been essential to the tennis courts being anywhere close to the condition that they're in.
In the best condition they've been in the last 15 years. But about 5 years ago, a new surface was put in to
A
the
little
courts.
less than 5 years, I think.
Is it less than 5?
Yeah,
And it
but a
lasted-
totally new surface,
It's
from
lasted
the bottom
forever,
up.
Because before, when we were putting surface, within 6 months to a year, they were all cracked.
Yeah.
And that's not happening now, so that's a good thing, I think, for the courts. And many times, of course, I'm in favor of Michael, because I've worked with him for so long. I was on the committee to teach him, to pick him. He has sometimes moved kids, they have kids that they're teaching, moved them off of one court onto one court, so I have 2 places where the kids are playing, to free up a court for a tennis player.
Okay.
So sometimes he's done that too, so he's tried to be,
Yeah.
you know, a guy that does what works, you know.
Yeah, a key problem is obviously the clay court.
Well, the
It's
kids
just not used.
Yeah, if we would have known what was gonna happen to that clay court, we'd have never put that
Correct.
in, never. And we didn't pay anything for it either, it was donated, but, it's a terrible court.
Okay, should we open up for public comment if we are done with questions?
One last comment, do we think if we ask them to use the clay court as a priority, the 2+1, is that a negative for them?
Well, it depends, it depends. I mean, you get
It's a
some,
negative for the adults.
yeah, they got some
They use
people,
kids.
they bring kids on that and they're just learning how to play, so the clay is no big thing. We've also had adults who were going to a tournament to play on clay, so they wanted to play on clay, even though it isn't the greatest, they get a feel for what it's like for the ball bouncing on clay. But, yeah, it's just, for most of the people that play there, that I know, with clay, I won't play on clay, I almost got hurt on clay and that was the end of playing on clay.
That really does suggest that that should be a priority. You get another court with $80,000.
There's sufficient money in the tennis fund that we could, have the tennis fund pay for it.
I don't know if that's true.
Really? Okay, I thought there was a bit saved up.
Well, but there's also costs.
Yeah. Okay. We'll open up for public comment if there's any public comment, and please, if you do comment, keep it to 3 minutes.
Cat Westover, 128 Heather Drive in Atherton. And I've been playing, since you guys started, been playing pickleball. So I've had keys for 3 years now. And I would venture to say that there's more than 100, because when we first started selling the keys, and I, had been asking how many are we selling? And they're like, oh, we sold a whole lot more keys this year than we did last year. So they've been saying that every year since they started. And the other thing I wonder, if it is half and half, let's just, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that it's half key, half pickle and half tennis, then we should have half the courts, and we're only asking for 1 court. And to use a real estate term, pickleball has the highest and best use. I mean, we can get 16 people on 1 tennis court, they can only get 4. So we're getting a lot more of the community using the tennis courts at 1 tennis court. And I'd also question how much, as far as our relationship with Player Capital, and we have a long-term relationship. I'd also question how much money are they making versus the 50,000 we're making. and look at that to see, I mean, because if they can afford to redo the whole court, they must be doing pretty well, more than 50,000 a year. So I think we need a more symbiotic relationship with them. And I think that's it. So thank you. Go pickleball.
I think what you meant by them paying for the court is that the money they're paying us, we use to save, Atherton paid for it, but we use the money that they were paying in rent to fund that court revamp. So that's what's meant. So they're it was 40K earlier and 50K, so they've been paying 40K a year. So we built an accumulation of that. And then I think each court was like 150K.
I don't know, it's 50K?
Something like that. So basically,
It is math.
we saved up enough from all that.
So we did pay for
We
it.
did pay for
So
it.
we did.
But
Okay.
we used the funds from his rent to pay for it.
Oh, so they didn't pay for it.
No,
Okay,
Well, they
then I
paid for
totally
it by-
misunderstood.
No,
We all
but the
misunderstood.
comment is still really relevant, which is how much are they making?
yeah.
I'd like to know if, we're making our whatever they're making.
Started higher than-
Couple million.
higher than 50.
Are they paying more?
So they were paying more at the beginning.
40K.
I don't think
So
so.
we
I
paid
think it was
40K
40 and
for
now
a
it's
long time, then they moved it up to 50K because we had to negotiate it,
It's only
renegotiate
gone up.
10 years.
Can I add one more thing? I don't think I was done quickly.
Go ahead.
Just a quick
Quickly,
thing.
yeah.
I also think that, as far as we're paying them because we need somebody to do the scheduling. I bet there's an app for that. So, I mean, we live in Silicon Valley, so that's my last comment.
There's apps and stuff for it, it's about somebody managing the app.
Yeah.
And Michael's flexible. If we want changes, he'll do it for us. So other than hiring a vendor.
Steve Zanoli, I'm in Menlo Park, but I back right up to the park right behind your lovely play school, which is great to hear the kids having a good time. The only question I have in doing the report is, the last time we came to a meeting, there was some great compromise and some changes made to give 4 courts pickleball on 1 court. Not additional hours, but more 4 courts instead of 2, which was great. But at that time, the idea was that was gonna be temporary, so I don't know if you guys have discussed how long that temporary and when's the next decision of is this gonna be permanent or are there other courts gonna be added? And the second was, we had an agreement, I thought, with Player Capital that if a court wasn't reserved a day in advance, it would open for pickleball. And then suddenly that changed to 2 days without any notice.
Went from 2 days.
It went from 2 days to 1 day. So we can't sign up 2 days in advance now if they're not using it. And the other thing we talked about was not having tennis sign up for court 1, which is the pickleball court, until all the other courts are used. And that still doesn't happen. And so that seems to me that's a scheduler's issue, which should be Michael. If he's in charge of the schedule, he could block court 1 until everything else is full. So that was something we talked about a couple of meetings ago.
So it's a lot of questions, but if we.
Well, no question, I just commented.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have updates. And the last thing I would say is, I mean, this is great, it's light till 8:30. If we keep these same hours during the winter, there really is no time for people to play pickleball during the week after
Friday.
Monday through Friday. Because if you work, it's dark,
Yeah.
it's just dark, because we have no time during the day, right? There's no times during the day, so.
Yeah, for the, so for Michael, sorry, there's a lot of questions, I can't remember all of them. So I was gonna try to address them one by one, although, can you remind me what?
Yeah, well, one was the pickleball court 1 was gonna be blocked for tennis until all the other courts were filled.
Yeah, so what Michael does is that if he sees someone's reserved it and there's another tennis court open, he'll move them to that other court if it's not clay. So he will move it so that court 1 will be available, so a day or 2 days before, so that pickleball, that's my understanding of what's gonna happen. I don't know if that's been consistent, but
I think what Steve is also referring to is Player Capital sent a message out by email to all of the key holders, I believe, saying, please don't sign up for court 1 in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Because that's for tennis. You can only do it 2 days. I don't know exactly how they did it, but they basically restricted the ability to do that. And we had actually thought that when we did this a year ago or so, that if court 1 was open at any time, pickleball players could sign up for that. But Player Capital said no. And it was kind of, sudden.
Okay.
And
Maybe,
it went from 2 days before to 1 day before, so.
I don't know, maybe it's something Robert should talk with Michael about and get more clarity on. So I don't know if you want to include that in your discussion with.
Well,
Robert or-
What I would say is we solved, I think, most of what Steve was just talking about by just making court one a pickleball court.
Okay. Go ahead.
So one thing that Steve referenced was the arrangement on court one being temporary. And that's exactly right, because we had contemplated that we'd be converting the handball court to 2 new pickleball courts, and the donor fell through, so that money isn't forthcoming at this point. So it seems to me like one thing that should be, in the course of looking at the player capital contract, probably is a good time to assess things. If we can make court one a pickleball court, that would be the best solution.
A permanent pickleball court.
Yeah, permanent.
So
I mean, I don't know if
resurfacing.
pickleballers are gonna use it all the time, and I
So
don't wanna adversely impact the tennis players.
So what happened?
We gotta give the tennis players access to sufficient courts so that they're not adversely impacted, and
Yeah.
that's I think that's what's being suggested to do with respect to player capital.
What if all, court one is empty? When I come down, when I wanna play or I wanna,
You should be able to play.
yeah, okay, so, but you're saying that it'd be a pickleball court.
Well,
Are
for reservation purposes, I'd say, I mean,
Oh,
maybe,
So, one is open, but it's
but
a
maybe the
pickleball
answer
court I
is
can't play on.
just for
It's
reservation.
okay, that's my last choice is the.
No, but,
Court one.
but I think you solve your issue by just making it for reservation purposes. If nobody signed up, then tennis players should be able to use it if that's the only court available.
Okay, so the issue is that they can't sign up now.
Well,
I got some restriction, you wanna say,
Yeah.
you wanna make that easier to sign up.
I mean, I think we're trying to explore how to accommodate
Yeah, got it,
people's needs.
sure.
I know the town is busy with a lot of construction projects, but if, say, the pickleball players came together to fund permanent pickleball, to fund the ability to build permanent pickleball courts, would the town be amenable to?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We were gonna rebuild those
Okay.
2 permanent pickleball courts and the donor fell through, so.
Yeah.
So that's something.
What about the key holders?
This-
There you go.
The cost of the key just went to 12 grand.
So it's something to think about, it doesn't have to be one person, it could be a group of people. And, it may not even be 100% of the cost, so it's just something to think about if.
Yeah.
If it's something that's critically important for a lot of pickleball players to have permanent pickleball courts rather than these temporary ones, then.
The town's made a commitment to make that conversion, it's just a matter of what, we thought the funds were gonna be donated,
Yeah, right.
that went away.
And not that it matters now, because it was a long time ago, but the current courts that we have were paid for by tennis players. The town didn't spend a nickel, and it was all done by tennis players who wanted to build courts, they built 6 courts. I know it's different now, and that's way back there, but it's just something that should be known.
Are there any other public comments?
Hi, I'm Meg. I work at Encinal Elementary in Atherton, and I am a Menlo Park resident. I want to say thanks for opening up the pickleball court. Started over at Milan Park, where there are a lot of Atherton residents, a lot of people. And when you opened this up, it opened up a whole world of opportunity for people to come together and play pickleball. My concern is the cost of the key, that we are given 1/4 of one court, and I pay extra because I'm a Menlo Park resident. And then I was just told, I can't reserve court 1 when player capital wants it because I want to play pickleball. And to me, that doesn't make sense. If I'm reserving a court and I'm paying the same amount, if not more, for a key, I should be able to reserve court 1, even if it's for tennis, because I have a key. I have the right to reserve any court, I would think. So for player capital, send me an email saying, no, you can't do that. Didn't make sense to me. I don't understand. If I have a key and it's a tennis key, why do they care what sport I choose to play during my time on that court? So I just want to kind of put that out there. The second thing is, Menlo Park has a similar situation as Player Capital with our pool. And boy, did we get screwed in that. And I just think that looking at that public-private situation, I think they make a lot of money. I think if they're willing to go pay for a lot, like Kat said, they're making a lot of money. Tennis lessons are expensive. So I think that Michael is looking after his own best interest because he's making a lot. So just kind of keep that in mind when we're thinking about this and hoping that, you know, maybe you bring the price down for pickleball players for the key, since we get 1/4 of one court for limited time and we're told when we can and cannot use it by Player Capital. So just my opinion.
Have you seen the numbers from Michael on how much money he's making?
You know what, I've not seen the numbers, but I know how much tennis lessons cost. I took them for most of my life.
Yeah, but
And
you
I know
haven't
that
seen-
cost has
You
gone
haven't
up.
seen when he plays the
Nope, and I
pros?
didn't say that
You
I
haven't
did.
seen
Nope,
him? Okay, all
nope,
right,
I did not.
okay.
But I can do math in my head and know that how much a lesson is an hour or a group lesson and how often they're out there. And they're not Atherton residents. And so I know a lot of money's coming in. So do you
Okay.
guys know how much money he makes? Do you know how much he makes?
Well,
Well, why would
I do wanna limit
No, I
the
did.
back and
Yeah,
forth
I don't
between.
either, so.
Nice. I do wanna limit the back and forth, so you and Bob should not really be. doing
Oh,
this
okay.
well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry.
It's okay, no, not your fault.
The only question I had was, did you happen to see the
Bob?
numbers, because I have,
Yeah, we don't have those numbers.
yeah.
Do they not offer
This
your number?
committee- Who
Well, it's kind of his
It should be.
business, so.
does it?
Huh?
Who owns that contract?
The town has a contract.
Yeah, but who in the town?
Robert.
Robert does, okay.
So someone knows how much they make.
Maybe not.
I mean,
Doesn't that seem
Michael's-
weird that you don't know how much the guy makes?
Well, so whenever you hire a vendor, we hired a construction firm to
Yeah.
rebuild the town center, we don't know how much they made.
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't know.
When, whenever you hire a vendor for the town, we don't know how much they make.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you hire someone to work on your house, you know how much they make? You know how much profit they make? You have no idea.
I don't.
Yes, neither do we.
We shouldn't.
I will say, one of the challenges the town has is, if the town manages things itself, it has to pay an employee to do that. And employees are quite, working government, as you work for the school
I
district,
sure
they
do.
know they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
So when you outsource, you kind of offload that cost to a private vendor, and then he makes money so that he can take care of his costs by giving out lessons. And so if the town has to run, have to hire tennis instructors, have to manage all that, hiring instructors is hard, right? You have to vet them and do background checks and all that. That's not in our expertise or the town's expertise. So that's kind of why you would have this.
Got it.
So. And it works for the town, so it keeps the cost pretty low. Any other comments? No, good. I'll bring it back to the committee. Are there any closing comments on this?
I just have a quick question. I know a couple of years ago, they had talked about making the clay court a hard court. What is the round figures for that?
$80,000 to $100,000.
80 to 100? And that is less expensive than leveling the land and putting on a new court.
Yeah, you gotta take all the clay and the stuff under the clay out, you have to put other stuff in, and then you gotta put a topsoil on it.
The only thing
And
you have to do is level it.
It turned out that the water plugged up the court spray system, and it plugged up the filter that we put in, trying to stop the thing from filling up the spray. And so neither one works, and now we do it with a hose. In fact, Michael does it with a hose. Every time there's a play, somebody wants to play on it, he takes a hose out and drags it out, puts it in the thing and sprays it to the third thing, and then rubs it, runs it down with a sweeps it down, and then it's ready then you can play clay on it. Or you can play on clay.
But it doesn't sound like the clay court's being used much, so.
Well, you can see that, it's not
Yeah.
big, it's not big.
The usage reports show it's not.
Yeah, so it's about $100,000 to
To do review, yeah.
But just the last thing I would say, last thing, it won't be the last thing, but I would like to say that what we're trying to do, we got a number of people that want to play pickleball. Okay, that's no question. And our idea was to have more people to do things that they want to do. So one thing we're trying to do is to get some kind of an agreement that gives the maximum number of people, whether you want to play pickleball or whether you want to play tennis, to be able to do that. And there's going to be some restriction to that, because there's more people probably than there's tennis courts. That's why we talk about building new ones. But we do want to satisfy, everybody, whatever they want to do, because that's what we're here for.
So for for July, you'll come back and talk to Robert, you and Walt will, let us know what. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's move on to item 5.3. Thank you guys for coming. We'll talk about the event. Manager, playground, bathroom update, Jennings Pavilion, basically everything else in the park.
Event manager, the contract has been sent over to Cheetah Little Catering, which is in the final stages of getting the ball signed and everything like that. We're hoping to meet with them very soon and get the ball rolling. It's been a
So should we set up for September to meet with them, the committee?
Insurance issues and stuff like that, so, but it's in the works and getting there. As far as the park bathroom, that's still in the permit phase and everything like that. Nothing's gone out to bid yet for a contractor for that, so that's still behind. The park itself, the park playground, construction started on May 4th. If you go out to the park, you can see it's fenced off. All of the equipment is removed. They're doing their leveling, irrigation. They just poured in all the curbage today. And all the new equipment has been delivered. So I'm not sure what their target date is, but I'm thinking it's before National Night Out in August. So
You mean they'll be done?
that's what
Okay.
people are talking about. So I don't know for sure, don't keep, but I know that's something.
That's
We
good.
meet every Wednesday and go over everything, so.
Okay.
So right now, that's kind of where we stand. As far as the Jennings Pavilion, Anthony is still working on the project with the acoustics and stuff. I don't really have an update on that. The lighting in Jennings Pavilion was installed 2 weeks ago. We now have our new chandeliers and new lighting in there.
Yes, I saw that.
The one little snafu we had is because of the new modern lighting, dimmer switch didn't work right. So the light turns on fine, but if you try to dim it, it flashes. So
Okay.
this Friday, they're coming in to put in the new module and stuff like that. So
Okay.
should be working, great after that, so. The main house, we are installing a window film over the big sliding glass doors. You go up there right now, you can see some of the floors separating. And part of Luxar Flooring coming back out to repair all of it is they were saying that it was the heat from the windows.
Okay.
So we had to do a film over it to fix that situation.
Okay, well, that's good too, because it'll keep the house cool.
It should, yeah. The house stays pretty cool. It's got AC in there and everything like that.
Okay. Well, then it should.
I
say
check
like
it all the
AC
time on a hot day and it's 68 to 70, so I mean, it's what it is. But yeah, that's all the updates I have.
Okay, are there any questions for Will?
Are they also gonna put the, whatever they're putting on the screen doors, cause it's covered by the big porch, like on that bay window in that side bedroom?
No, right now, we're just focusing on the big sliding doors, cause there's no window covering at all in there. Like the other big windows have like shutters and stuff on it, that one doesn't, so that's what and that's where most of the damage to the floor, where it's kind of peeling apart, coming apart.
Yeah, that's where it's all set, but that one, the couple with the big buckles. from
Yeah,
that
so
side.
they're gonna fix everything, but yeah, overall.
Are there any other questions? See, I don't think I had any questions myself. Okay, thank you. Front views, quality site assessments.
Everything's in your package, if you have any questions, let me know.
Are there any questions in the front view area?
Yeah, I'm just still concerned about, unintentional planting. Unintentional plants that come up, be it the Texas privet in the middle of the hedge and.
Squirrels.
Going into it. Yeah, but that's unintentional, and we spent all of this money.
I did have a walk around with their supervisor, Sam,
Uh-huh.
and pointed out some of the areas, so they're gonna start trying to keep attention
Oh,
to those
good.
areas
And
and
like
work
the
on them.
ivy and the
And
Texas
the ivy and everything like
tree
that,
and
so
the
they are
rocks
planning
with
to
the-
work on it. And then, I know there was some areas you were concerned of trimming, so they're gonna start working on that.
And oak trees coming up. Because where they have addressed those things, I mean, they're on spot, but, taking a weed eater to ivy does not fix the problem.
I talked to Augustine, we met over there, he did hand pull a lot of it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna keep working on it, he hasn't.
So it's
done
just
it.
hard work, it is so hard.
Okay. Why don't we move on to the Park Foundation report? Frank?
Really have nothing other than we're on the hunt to try to straighten out Will's biggest headache, which is why the fountains turned green, so we're working on that.
Okay, yeah, we've done the clean outs, we've done the filters, we've done the algae side, nothing seems to be helping, so I
I
don't
think
know.
you're using the same algicide.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
which now I can't find it as fast, so I don't know where you guys got it
I
at.
got on Woodside Road, there's a full supply place on Woodside Road,
Okay.
not too far up.
If you know the name or something,
I
I'll see.
don't, but I can figure it out. I can go by there and figure
I
it
gotta
out.
talk to Robert about exactly how to go about that, if we're supposed to purchase it. or-
Okay, yeah, wasn't easy to find. I had to do a little bit of,
Yeah, we just ran out of it, and then I
Yeah.
couldn't find it online.
It's a specialty algicide?
yeah, it was one that was recommended to me by, Arian Oster from the historical. She's got, I think, 3 fountains in her home, and she's had no problem. Since she started using the stuff, she's had no problem, so I don't know what we're doing wrong. We're gonna figure it out.
I don't know if it's a reaction to the well water or.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what, somebody else said, that's what the guy actually told him when I stopped in there, I don't know, 2 months ago, and he said, maybe you're reacting to the well water.
We installed extra filters and everything, so
Right.
it gets filtered 3 times before it gets there, so. I don't know. Something we'll keep working at.
Maybe it needs some cooties in there,
Yeah, it does.
something to keep it cleaner.
Put some goldfish in and some frogs.
And 6B and 6C, so the Park Division and events reports.
Go through the event. All the information's there in your packets. We had a few rentals this month. Mostly social gatherings. Revenue was a little more than last month, $3,800. As far as things that we did, in your packet, you can see that we put the pad in for the ADA of the picnic table. For that Atherton Arts Foundation donated.
And it's
We actually installed it yesterday, so it is now there. That'll be on next month's report.
And I've seen 2 people now use it
Good, that's great. We
today.
cleaned out the drain in front of the art room, starting to get a lot of stuff going on. We've been doing some work at the playground and play school, bathroom, the plumbing. We've had issues with that, the loose throwing and stuff like that, so we've run some issues there. Like I said, the Jimmy's Pavilion's lights were installed, and we've been working on the fence line out in front of walk-ins, just keeping the area as clean as possible with the summer coming up.
That fence will be replaced, right? It's kind of this long project.
I think it's in there somewhere, but it's nothing's been set up or anything.
Is it waiting for the lights to be installed for Littlefield?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Robert, I'm
Yeah.
not sure about that.
It was paid for maybe a couple years ago, and I remember it's being held up for some other bigger project, but now I can't even remember what it was, because it's been so long. It would be good to know.
Yeah, I do have one thing to add to you. This is coming from Sally, our arborist. They're gonna be removing the large eucalyptus tree.
All of
inside
them?
the park. I mean, the plan is to take down some of them, but especially the one that's in the courtyard, because we've had a couple of them fall and break.
Yeah.
They're talking about the people that West Coast arborists that are taking down that one, came to us and asked us if we wanted to reuse some of the wood for furniture. The furniture is not pretty, milled, amazing stuff. I have some examples.
But is it flammable?
No, it's not.
Because eucalyptus is very flammable.
They dry everything out and put the oils out of it.
You want it to be.
No, you don't.
But they can make, I guess, this kind of bulky furniture, so kind of the question is this something that appeals to the park and the aesthetics that we want?
Maybe we can auction it off.
And can we think, well, we have to pay for it, so we don't wanna it's not free, but it would be
Oh, I
part of the.
But
Yeah,
I
tree.
mean, there may be people who wanna buy something like this in the park. It's free.
Well, we would have to pay money to get this done,
Yeah.
so the question is that something that you would want, or something that appeals to the park? And, these are locations.
Is there a need coming from somewhere that we need more
No,
seating?
it's just reusing that tree.
It just happens to be it's available.
Yeah, so they had offered it, and these were the questions, and Sally just wanted your guys' input, if that was something you would want.
By all means, my recommendation,
Which is yes or no?
yes,
Okay.
by all means, by any means possible.
I haven't had any outreach of extra seating or anything like that in the park.
Yeah,
so-
If we're gonna use it, we have to not have an idea what to do with it, what to make out of it, so I don't really have any.
When are they taking it down soon?
I'm not sure about that, Sally, I know it's gonna be pretty soon, yeah, they're trying to.
Should we bring this back next month for a decision, or do you guys need a decision before that?
Well, she just wanted input to see if people were even interested.
I think
And
it'd
go
be
back and
kinda
say they're
cool.
interested, but they need some more time to
Okay.
discuss it,
So
so.
should we bring it back next month? to
Yeah, that's fine.
discuss? Okay,
Okay.
so, think about it, guys, what you wanna do, possibly where to put it, take a look around the park.
I mean, there's areas here and there where you can put some extra
Yeah,
seating,
kinda
people in the shade, you know.
So, just one big eucalyptus in the middle, and then the other two. at
As
least
far as
there's-
I know, I don't know
Okay.
what the plan is exactly, but I know that those ones are starting to be dangerous, that fall.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did they see what the cost would be?
To do that, it's not gonna be a cost for us, it's gonna come out of the tree budget that's already in place. So it's not something additional that like the,
But it would reduce the tree budget by something.
yeah, it's gonna reduce her tree budget by a little bit, I'm not sure how much it is, $2,500 or something like that, yeah.
2,500 to remove the trees.
Not to remove the tree,
Oh, to do
the
the.
tree's like
furniture.
175,000 to remove the tree.
Yeah.
The furniture, I think, is like 25.
Oh,
Wait,
it
it's
is.
175?
Something like that, 100 and something, or 75,000,
We
something
could
like
build
that.
2 courts for that.
It's a good business.
It's really dangerous to take those trees down and the trees
Yeah, it's a
themselves
big
become
deal.
a
It's a
liability.
really big
I mean,
deal.
it smashed the courtyard building and that cost over $100,000 to fix that, so.
Tree was expensive. Okay, are there any, are you done with your park division?
Yes,
That was
everything's done.
Everything else, okay. So, are there any questions, or we can go to 60 individual committee member comments?
So I'd like to have a question. So for the next meeting, we're gonna say whether we should do this or not.
Yeah, we'll bring it back on the agenda and we can talk about, so, it's not just whether we do it or not, we actually have to give Will some ideas of what to do, right? It's not just saying
What
yes.
to do and how much it's gonna cost.
It's about
I can
25,
find out cost.
yeah, 2,500, but we'll.
2,500 a bench type thing?
I don't know, that's just the number they threw out. It might be just for all of what you see, I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Just, this was more of a feeler to see if there was even anything you like guys would want.
I already got an idea.
You want to, you can say it now if you want,
Um,
we'll think about it for the next month.
There were a lot of veterans in Atherton, and I've always thought it'd be kind of cool to donate a part, you know, like a big rock that says, you know, in honor of Atherton veterans and stuff. And looking at this, I'm thinking might be kind of cool to put a couple benches out in the redwood grove with a stone that says.
You mean out here in the library?
No, at the
Oh,
park.
in the
at
park,
Park, on the back side of the north.
Oh, okay,
And,
near Felton
Yeah,
Gables.
so it'd be like a veteran redwood.
Not
grove.
near Fountain Gate, near Lane Place.
Yes,
Lane
near
Place.
Lane, yes,
Oh,
on the other side of Gilmore, if you follow
Yeah,
Gilmore
yeah,
House,
yeah.
go around in there.
Okay.
I'm just looking at that, thinking, that might be kind of cool.
Cool.
Just
Well,
an
there
idea.
On the path going around the North Meadow,
Mhm.
like where we have the snail and,
Yeah, but
you
not
know,
that
there's
far
some
around
space
it.
to put a
Yeah.
couple benches.
And it might be kind of cool to make it a veteran grove, because I know my daughter has said veterans will often travel and go to places in parks and towns that have a veteran type memorial. That's just an idea, and then maybe we can get, I've talked to 2 women whose husbands or they themselves were veterans, and they were gonna jump at the opportunity to kind of lead something like this, so it's just an idea.
Okay, we can discuss it more at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Good, thank you, okay. Are there any other individual committee member comments? Let's see, do I have any, so, it'll be the end of the fiscal year. Beginning of next one in July, so some of you will need to reapply if you want to keep on the committee. Probably the city manager or, I don't know, Anthony probably sends out that.
Somebody already asked me.
Yeah, me too, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, your position's up, I know that. I don't know
It's
who
up.
else.
I think I just reapplied, I thought.
Oh, you, but in June.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it for 4
Terms.
years?
Oh.
Because it's for-
yeah,
Juliana's
I
my
don't know who
favorite,
else.
talking to her.
You too.
oh yeah, so we may lose half the numbers, hopefully you guys all apply.
I've got 2 more
Yeah.
years.
And then for July, it'll be, what's that?
What was your question?
Hopefully you're going to reapply.
Already,
Or you have to find someone to replace you.
already have,
Okay.
You already have.
I've already quit.
And then for July, we can start thinking about some new fiscal year goals that we want to meet for that. We'll be done, we're basically done with the playground, I guess, as much as we can. There's probably pickleball still be going on, and if there's anything else, because I think a lot of the venue changes that we wanted have been done, so that might be done. So we'll think about what other initiatives we want to pursue. Okay, that's all I had. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Okay, done, thank you.